Greetings, my friends. This is Dr. Benoit from McNeese State University, Burton College of Education. I am the program coordinator for the Pre-Educator Pathway and Educators Rising. So this, hopefully brief, I'm going to try to keep it brief video, is going to be an overview of how to submit your micro-credential to Digital Promise, to actually receive your micro-credential. And it's also going to be how to submit it to McNeese to get credit. Sorry, I'm hesitating here because I can't find my little draft I just had. Okay, here we go. Um, so I'm going to be reading straight from this email that I'm actually sending you. And if you look right here where it says, here's a video overview, I'm going to actually put the link to the video overview. But I wanted to actually show you some of the materials that I'm going to be sending you. So that's why I've decided to include it this way. So first of all, can you believe it's already April? I know you are probably thick into the micro-credential process. Some classes might be, toward the end of the process. In fact, I've already gotten a couple of applications, so I know some of you are already finished. Some of you might be at the beginning because I know that you're on, a different semester schedule. So, but I advise all teacher leaders, experienced and new, to review this email and this video because it does contain valuable information about how to access the micro-credentials. As you know, that they are changing the anti-bias in the classroom culture. They're changing those. And so we've received some special permissions. The links to those are included in this email. So again, right here is going to be where I put this video overview for you. But the first thing that you have to do is actually submit the micro-credential to Digital Promise. I actually copied and pasted Ann Morris's message to me here, and she also gave me permission to share her email. If for any reason you have any trouble, she said, please reach out to her and she can walk you through how to access the micro-credentials. So, and you can see I copied it straight from that email. Lori, she says, I just wanted to follow up with the direct links on how your partner schools can access the 2 micro-credentials you inquired about. We're happy to provide assistance to them if they reach out to us, but I wanted you to have them should they reach out to you first for how to access. So we do have special permission. So all the way until May 1st, we can submit for the micro-credentials. If you're not able to meet that deadline, please let me know because we will have to, see if we can appeal and get a little bit more time. And you will have the links through the 30th to finish them up. So let me explain what this means. You need to pay for and at least have the students start by May 1st. They can save their work in the system. So let's say that by May 1st, they really aren't totally finished with the micro-credential. They at least need to purchase and they need to start the process. Then they have until June 30th to access it in the Digital Promise online system and continue finishing it before they submit. So that kind of gives you a little guidance regarding the dates. So here are the 2 direct links, and you will notice on the Educators Rising website, these are no longer visible. They're not present. So this is how you're going to access them through these 2 links. And I'm going to do one in just a moment. Actually, I'll just do it right now really quickly. So I already did the control and click and you can see it's purple. So I am practicing the anti-bias. And this is what you should go to is it's the Digital Promise, which is the third party overseer of the micro-credentials. And so notice I have the right one, anti-bias, if that's the one I'm preparing for. Now, here's the thing. I am already logged in. You can see right here, my name is already logged in. This is very important. Your students are going to have to log in. They're going to have to create a username and a password for Digital Promise. Now, the good news is they can actually use a Google or a Microsoft. They have it set up to where they can use those. Here is the problem, though. If your students graduate many districts, most districts immediately take their emails out of commission. So that's when is going to create a problem. I highly recommend, and if you go back to the very first training that we ever have, there is I'm telling you, I highly recommend that they use their own emails for this that are not going to go away, that the students frequently check. And I recommend that somehow they create a system with um, you need to be able to either have access to what their passwords are to the micro-credential. They need to have a hard copy version. And the reason why is we would hate for them not to be able to get into this account and not receive credit for it once they start at a university, if the university does grant credit. And sadly, we have had that happen before because students, they either couldn't remember um, or they couldn't access. So that this piece is very important. This is where they will set up their own, and it's just like anything else. They have to put in an email, they have to put in a password. Again, like I'm saying, I recommend it's something that they write down and they leave with you at least for a brief period so that there's a hard copy of how to access this. But once you do get into this, it's really very, very easy. Notice that it's going to direct you directly to the template. And so if you look right here, this is the one that's printable. It says download the antibias instruction submission form here. And so you click right here. I already downloaded it just so you can see what it looks like. And it's a Word. I mean, the students can type directly into this. And this is where you should be using this for them, to keep track of their micro-credential. So this full thing is the micro-credential, the whole thing. So they need to save a version. Again, I recommend that you make them download it to a device that they are regularly using. Similar to the password, if they're only keeping an online version of this, if their schools take away their email rights, they're not going to have access to this if there's only an online copy. So I recommend making them download that file and saving it to a device so that they will have access to it at all times. Okay, so once they've completed their micro-credential, they've gotten all this filled out. Now they are ready to do the submission. Again, that's where this is right here. They would log in to the password they created, the username and password, and make sure that they're in the right one, anti-bias or classroom culture, and then it's going to pull it down for you. So prompt one, and this is where people sometimes get confused. It says complete the questionnaire provided in the submission form linked in part 2. You upload it in part 2. So what this is meaning right here is part 1, overview questions, instructional context overview. So this is what they're talking about. These are the quote unquote questions or questionnaire. And so it says complete the questionnaire provided in the submission form linked in part 2. So this is what they're talking about right here, where it says part 2 prompt, but it is confusing. This is the questionnaire or questions that they're talking about. It's part 1. So have your students copy and paste all of this and then put it into this dialog box. You can let them, format it. It doesn't have to be with the boxes and things like that. Essentially, the reason that they're collecting this is because they're interested in the types of schools that our students are using to receive their micro-credentials. So they're using that as kind of like a data gathering piece. In this part 2, notice you scroll all the way down and then look how nice. All they have to do is the portfolio template that they saved, they can literally drag and drop it right in here. Or they're welcome, of course, to upload it however they would like to. Now, this is for if they chose it, if they saved it digitally. I don't recommend this because sometimes the permissions are not set correctly. They can't access it, and it's really disheartening for those students when they don't receive credit And they're not going to tell you like, oh, please resubmit. No, they're just going to take the $75 and say not accessible. So I recommend, of course, the hard, doing the actual upload or drag and drop of what they've downloaded to their device. Then it's going to give them some check boxes for permissions, confirming the integrity of their work. And now here's the payment part. When you get down here, all of your districts that I know of are paying for your students, at least the first one, the first $75. In that case, your district is working out a payment plan for your students. Typically, at this point, your district should have the coupon code that your students are going to be using. So, a few schools actually use the school credit card, and if so, an administrator or a teacher would need to be on site at that point, and they would click card and they would put the school information in. Other than that, they're going to be clicking coupon, and you will have a voucher from your district representative or your principal. Then at that point, once you've done that, it doesn't show right now, but there will be an option to say confirm and submit. And that's how that will go through. So, however, if your students are not ready by May 1st to do all of this, you at least need to take them through the payment portion and either have that school or district credit card ready to put in or the coupon code ready, and then let them save a draft, because after May 1st, they will be able to get into that, and they will be able to get into it, and they will be able to continue their micro-credential all the way until June 30th. Okay, so if you have any questions about that piece, let me know. All of your districts either are currently working on getting the codes for you or working out how they want to pay, or they've done it already. But again, reach out to me if that's something that you need assistance with, and I can, kind of mediate that conversation if needed. All right. So now we are going to continue on our little process here, and I'm trying to figure out how I can enlarge this again. Let me see if I go to drafts. Should be able to do it. Yeah. Okay. So let me enlarge that and see I've got a ton of tabs open. I apologize. But now we are at this piece, which is going to be you have your credit. So at this point, the students have their credit. So we've gone down and we are in part 2, which is submitting passing micro-credential. So you will note that I actually attached a flyer. I've given you these flyers probably multiple times. I know, I'm sorry. I give them so many times just so you can post them in your room, but it's the flyer is it looks like, I'm trying to see if it's up here. It might be down here. The flyer, yeah, here we go. The flyer looks like this. And okay, but just in case you don't have access to that flyer, I actually included all of the information that you would need right here. So after receiving credit for the micro-credential, students will follow the steps below to apply them to their McNeese transcripts and receive college credit. If your students are going to another university, McNeese doesn't have any say in whether or not they receive credit or how they're awarded credit. So they will need to contact that specific university and the admissions office to find out if that college grants credit and how they grant credit, what the process is to apply credit. So carefully read the directions. And this is just straight on the flyer, and I just put it here for easy access. Carefully read the directions for how to earn credit for your micro-credential. Failure to submit could delay or actually jeopardize the college credit. Each micro-credential has to be submitted on a separate application form. Do not include 2 on one form. So your students may have received anti-bias in classroom culture. They need to do 2 different application forms. So the first piece is they actually have to complete an application form. This is the link to the survey. Let me go ahead and show you what it looks like so the students will know what it looks like. It looks like this. Okay, and at the top of this, I have included all of these directions again. So the students will complete, they're going to go down, they're going to click where they need to click. And then when they get to the bottom, it's a reminder of what they have to submit to us. So this is their application form. And then once they finish the application form, they're at step 2. Submit the micro-credential documentation to, and there is an email address that they need to access to submit that micro-credential. They need to submit a screenshot of the micro-credential. They can do multiple screenshots if they need to, because they're going to get a badge, but they're also going to get something that has like congratulations and their name on it. So they need to take screenshots of that stuff. It needs to be a picture of the computer screen itself. It needs to be in, they can put that in a Word document and then they can save it as a Word or a PDF document. It must clearly show that the student was awarded the micro-credential. It has to have the student's name and it has to have the micro-credential that they were awarded with. Students must receive their micro-credentials prior to becoming full-time students at a university. So the credit is not awarded if the students receive their micro-credentials after entering the university. So for example, let's say that one of your students right now does not complete the micro-credential. They don't think they're going to be a teacher. You're not counting it as a grade. It's not required. So they just decide they're not going to do it. Well, let's say, oh, I have a change of heart over the summer. I am going to go to McNeese and I am going to become a teacher. Well, once they enroll in McNeese as a student, it's too late. They can't do this. It's called a prior learning credit. And that's how we're able to give them the credit through our university. So make sure they understand that. Students do not have to take another exam. So a lot of times there's confusion about that. Their quote unquote exam is the micro-credential, the portfolio. So they do not. Students will receive an email from the MSU cashier to pay a processing fee for each micro-credential. So the students are responsible for paying that themselves. It's $30, I think, 30 or 35. I think it's 30 per micro-credential. And so that is the same fee for AP. It's the same as CLEP. It's the same thing. They do not have to pay this though until they are awarded, until they want to put it on their transcript. So they can go ahead and apply. They can send their documentation to us and we can just kind of hold it and it's frozen and they have their credit. And then when they're ready to pay those fees, it'll go on their transcript. So please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions about any part of the micro-credentialing process. I know you guys are in testing, but I'm happy to even physically go to your school if you need me to and kind of walk through some of this with you. I hope you have a wonderful April and a great micro-credential season. And we look forward to seeing those of you who are going to become teachers and you're enrolling at McNeese State University. And those of you who are going elsewhere, we wish you the very best. Thank you for going on this journey with us. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.